Nonprofit webinar. My name is Tara, and I'm joined here by my colleague, Julie. Today's presentation will be approximately 45 minutes, and you could submit any questions throughout the presentation through the chat questions feature within GoToWebinar. I will also leave a few extra minutes at the end of the presentation to submit any last-minute questions before I go into our Q&A session. If there are too many questions at the end and we don't have time to get to your question, our team will follow up with you directly after the presentation. Today's webinar is designed to serve as a basic training of the RelSci platform. Whether this is your first encounter with RelSci or if you have joined as a refresher, we hope that after today's session you are better equipped to start unleashing your organization's relationship capital. If you are interested in a more tailored one-on-one training after this webinar, feel free to reach out to your RelSci account manager. Whether you are a cause-based organization or a higher ed institution, there are a number of ways in which you can get value out of RelSci. Today we are going to uncover some of the most popular tools that are utilized by our nonprofit clients. So relationship science is a business development tool that allows you and your firm to privately upload your existing network of contacts to uncover access points to individuals and companies and foundations that you want to work with that you don't currently have a relationship with. We've created a universe where we've profiled over 4.5 million influential individuals such as named executives, high net worth individuals, board members, and over 1 million of their affiliated organizations which span the public, private, nonprofit, and financial sectors. All of the information that you see in RelSci is sourced by our 300-person research team, and all of the data in the platform is from a publicly verified source. So that means that any of the information you see in RelSci comes from company websites, press releases, and public filings. Most importantly, we have created a relationship mapping technology that sits on top of all of this data and allows you and your firm to privately map your contacts to your targets in a completely private and proprietary way. So now we're going to get started. This is our main landing page, which you will always see when you log into your RelSci account. Right here on the upper right-hand side, you'll see my relationships. So I've gone in and uploaded my contacts, and out of the 4.5 million influential individuals that we have profiled, I have access to just over 580 of them. Additionally, my colleagues have also gone in and uploaded their. So that's why you'll see that larger number up top of just over 5,200. If you want to update your contacts, you just click My Relationships. And depending on where you store your contacts, I'm going to click into Add More Relationships right under Relationship Management. So as an organization, where do you store your contacts? Do you keep them in Outlook, LinkedIn, Salesforce, or do you keep them in just an Excel sheet here? Depending on where you store your contacts, you can click any of these features, such as LinkedIn, and RelSci will give you step-by-step instructions on how to upload those contacts into your RelSci account. I'm going to go back to the main landing page here. So right away, you'll see right here it says My 360 Alerts. So this is your news and alerts, your daily digest of, things that you want to keep track of, such as do you have a prospect list in mind, top donors, companies to watch. These are, groups of individuals or companies that you want to keep tabs on. You want to see, when they're in the news, what they're up to, maybe a company bought another company. Things like that can all be here in your subscribed news and alerts. It will show up on your main landing page, as well as in your email. You'll get a daily digest first thing in the morning. If you wanted to, subscribe, customize your news and alerts, what's best for you, what I would do is go to the drop-down where your name is up here on the upper right-hand side. Go to My Alert Settings. So this is where I can go in and customize my news and alerts for what works best for my workflow. So, I do get daily news and alerts anytime that someone in my tagged relationships is in the news. Additionally, I subscribe to a number of lists that I have set up in my account that I want to keep tabs on, such as my Boston prospect list, my California prospect list, C-suite cancer donors in New York, my board member list. These are just a variety of things that, for my workflow, I need to keep tabs on. Additionally, I can scroll down here. If you have any events in RelSci, you can subscribe to your event list. Additionally, if there are any industries or charitable causes or specific topics that you want to stay on top of, such as cancer research or donations and philanthropy, you can set that up here in your news and alert settings for your RelSci account. Additionally, as well, we can scroll up top. You can add filters to your prospect list or your board list. So let's say for my board list, I want to be notified anytime someone maybe joins another nonprofit board, or maybe they get promoted at work, or maybe they change jobs. This is where I can go in and under topic, I can type in, board and employment changes, and click Save, and now my alert is customized for that board member list. I'll be notified anytime someone on my board has a board or employment change. So that's just something that you can do to customize your news and alert settings for what works best for you. I'm going to go back to our main landing page here. Right above that, up at the top, you see Discover Potential Donors in Your Network. So, RelSci is taking into account it's going to flash 3 new names every 10 minutes of individuals who are located in your organization's network and have donated to causes similar to you. So for example, let's say I'm a university, my donor search module up here is going to flash 3 new names of individuals who have donated to causes similar to higher education, since I'm a university in this case. If you click See More Donors, you can kind of go more into that tool, which I'm going to touch upon in a little bit later. And then right here up at the top, this is our smart search bar. So this is where you can go in and type in, a prospect of interest or maybe a foundation that you want to work with. So just to start off, I'm going to type in Melody Hobson. So this is what a profile is going to look like when you pull up an individual in RelSci. You'll see, what the name is, where the individual works. If I wanted to add this person as a relationship, I could do this here. Additionally, as well, let's say I really want to keep tabs on Melody Hobson. I want to see when she's in the news. I would just click this following button right here, and she'll be included in my daily news and alerts digest. Additionally, the first stop on her profile, you'll see recent 360 alerts. So this is any time that Melody has been mentioned in the news over the past couple of weeks. You can kind of scroll through and get an idea of, what she's been up to. So let's say, Melody Hobson is a prospect of mine. She's someone I really want to get involved with my organization. You see this where, on the profile where it says My Firm's Paths to Melody. So right away, RelSci is taking into account who out of my 580, strong tagged connections can possibly get me an introduction to Melody. So it looks like, myself and 2 of my colleagues have tagged that they know Melody. So, I could go through myself to get a warm introduction, or it looks like some of my colleagues, Scott and Stanley, might have a better relationship with her. So they might be a good access point to go through. Additionally, we can scroll down and see My Firm's Strongest Paths to Melody. So this is taking into account, who out of my colleagues could also maybe get me that warm introduction to Melody. So it looks like 2 of my colleagues, Jim and Stanley, have tagged that they know Howard Schultz, and we believe that Howard Schultz could get me a warm introduction to Melody because it looks like they've overlapped at Starbucks, DreamWorks, and Groupon. And so that's just another interesting access point that I would have to get that warm intro to Melody Hobson. Now I'm going to scroll down and show you the rest of an individual's profile. We'll pick up their family if publicly available. Education, so where have they gone to school? Any membership organizations that they've been a part of, we'll pick up. We also have a full career history, so it'll be where the individual works currently and where they've worked in the past. So you can kind of scroll through here. We also will pick up boards and committees that a person is a part of. It could be corporate, government, or nonprofit if available. So scroll through this list and get an idea of where else does individuals spend their time outside of the workplace. So Melody's obviously been a very busy individual. We will also pick up nonprofit donations and grant information. So if an individual makes a large public donation, we will pick that up here. So you can see that Melody has donated money to the Chicago Public Education Fund, St. Ignatius College Prep, and a museum as well. We'll also pick up political donations. If an individual has stock in a company, we will pick up their public holdings. Additionally, as well, any awards and honors they've been a part of, or any events that they've attended or spoken at that are very high profile, we will pick up. So Melody is a very public individual, so she has a very robust profile. But if you're looking up someone who is a little more private, maybe doesn't have as much information disclosed in the public domain, you won't see as much on their RelSci profile. Now I'm going to scroll up, and we're going to get to Melody's relationship summary. This is right here on her RelSci profile page. Click See All on the right-hand side. So, Melody has not gone into RelSci and uploaded her contacts. All of this information is gathered through the public domain. So out of the 4.5 million influential individuals that we have profiled, we believe that Melody has access to just over 3,400 of them. So RelSci has an algorithm that determines the likelihood of an individual knowing another person. We take into account where have these two individuals worked over the years, what boards are they a part of, are they part of the same membership organizations, have they done an investment deal together. All of that goes into determining the likelihood, and we're going to take the algorithm one step further and take into account, if these two individuals worked at Ariel Investments together, was it currently or was it 10 years ago? How senior were they at the organization? What are the chances that they would actually overlap each other? If they're on a board together, is it a 10-person nonprofit board or is it a 100-person corporate board? All of that goes into determining the likelihood of an individual knowing another person. All relationship likelihoods will be ranked as strong, average, or weak. And you can see that full list here, of people we believe that Melody has access to. So we believe Melody could get us an introduction to John Rogers Jr. because it looks like they've overlapped at Ariel Investment Trust, Chicago Public Education Fund, Princeton University, and they've done a deal together as well. So, we believe that Melody could get us an introduction to John. We could kind of scroll through this list and see, oh, Melody could get us an introduction to Bob Solomon, because they've overlapped at Ariel Investments for a number of years. So we can kind of scroll through here and see, who does she have access to? Who could possibly, maybe be a potential new donor for our organization that Melody could have access to? Additionally, we could scroll up to the top. I'm going to switch the storyline. Let's say, I am the Young Presidents Organization and Melody is a board member of mine, and I see that she has access to all of these influential individuals, and I really want to utilize Melody more to be further engaged with our organization. So I can filter this button here, and I can filter out all of her relationships. So, I only want strong and average, so I'm going to uncheck this weak. If I wasn't interested in certain relationship types, I could uncheck these here. So, maybe if I think if someone knows someone through a PE/VC investment deal, and I think that's not a good access point for me, I can uncheck that here. Additionally, since I am the Young Presidents Organization, and I want to, further engage Melody with getting warm introductions through her network, I'm going to remove any pass exclusively through us because I already know about those connection points. So I could click that here and click Apply. And now those filters are going to be applied to this list of Melody's relationships. So, let's say, this is a list I really want to use. I can click Add to List. And now I can create a list right here in my account called M. Hobson Rels. And click Save. Once that list is done, let's say, I am the Young Presidents Organization. I really like Melody's relationships. I can go into our Pathfinder tool, do from that Melody Hobson list of relationships to my prospect list and see, who in Melody's network could we get an introduction to through her that maybe we didn't realize she was connected to. So that's just a potential workflow that a nonprofit can do to help, further engage your board members in helping you get those warm intros to potential new donors. So as well as looking up individuals, you can also look up corporations and foundations. So let's say, I work at a nonprofit, but I work with mostly on the foundation side. I want to see, how us as, a cause-based organization can work with some of these larger foundations. So I'm going to pull up the Ford Foundation through our Smart Search bar. So this is what a profile is going to look like when you pull up a foundation. You'll see, with a foundation, any news and alerts, when has the Ford Foundation been up to? What have they been in the news for over the past couple weeks? Additionally, you'll see my firm's path to the Ford Foundation. So, out of my tagged relationships, who could possibly get me an introduction to someone influential at the Ford Foundation? So it looks like I've tagged that I know Cecil Richards, who is on the board of trustees at the Ford Foundation. Let's say I know that that particular board member is really busy. I don't think that might be my best access point. I can scroll down and see if any of my colleagues have any connections to the Ford Foundation as well. So it looks like Thomas Hager, my colleague, has tagged that he knows Thurgood Marshall Jr., who's also on the board of trustees at the Ford Foundation. So that might be another interesting access point that I could use besides my connection. I'm going to scroll down. We'll pick up, a full description on the company, as well as any of their key personnel. We'll also have a full breakdown of their board of trustees as well. And any of these blue names that you see are completely clickable. So if you wanted to get smart on an executive or a board member, you can click their name and pull up their RelSci profile as well. I'm going to scroll down. We'll pick up any companies, that the foundation works with as advisors and consultants, as well as, the individuals who maybe have worked with them specifically and where they work as an advisor. We'll pick up any nonprofit donation and grant info. So where has the Ford Foundation been donating their money? It looks like they've given a lot of money to the Institute of International Education, as well as the National Academy of Sciences, among others. We'll pick up any members, any investment deals they've been a part of, and who have been those limited partners they've lined themselves up with, suppliers, and sponsorships. So this is what a foundation's profile is going to look like when you pull it up in RelSci. So next up, what I'm going to do is, how do we as an organization map, to this foundation that I really want to get a warm intro to? I'm going to click See All Paths. So this is our Pathfinder tool. I think this is where a lot of you guys are going to spend a lot of your time here. So right now, Pathfinder is taking into, my firm's relationships to the Ford Foundation. How do we as a company, map to this foundation? I really want to work with them in the next couple of months. How can I get an in? So, it looks like Thomas Hager, my colleague, has tagged that he knows Thurgood Marshall Jr. because he's on the board of trustees. Additionally, it looks like myself and my colleague Mike Owens know Ursula, who's also on the board of trustees there. There's a variety of things that you can map in Pathfinder. So for example, let's say I'm a nonprofit and I have my top donor list in RelSci. And I want to map it to my top prospect list going forward. Maybe some of my top donors who I have a really good relationship with might be able to get me to some of my prospects. I'm going to click Show Paths. So right now, RelSci is taking into account, who out of my top donors could get me to a warm introduction to my top prospects. So it looks like Melissa Birch could get me an introduction to James, who's on my prospect list, because they both have overlapped with the Citizens Budget Commission as well as the Urban Land Institute. So this is another way for me to further engage those top donors that I have a really good relationship with. Additionally, Katya could get me a warm introduction to Fred because they're both on the advisory board of Dream Adventures together. So this could be, a really interesting access point moving forward. I can print out these path reports as well. I can do a PDF or a CSV file. You can pick and choose, maybe I want to show the top 10 paths, for my next donor meeting. I want to see if I can get some warm intros out of them. This could be a really good piece of content to show your board members. Additionally, you can filter out any paths as well. So if we click this filter button, let's say there's a certain path type you're not interested in. For example, someone knows someone through an LP investment. You can uncheck that. Or let's say you're running a path and you already know that a lot of these individuals are affiliated through another nonprofit and you don't want that to clog up your results. I can remove paths exclusively through, let's say, the American Cancer Society, since I know a lot of people are involved, with that organization, my path. I don't want it to clog up my results. You can also remove paths exclusively through an individual as well. So let's say, you're running paths from a top donor, someone that has a lot on their plate, they're not going to be able to help you out. You can remove paths through them as well and click Apply. And now that path report is going to have custom filters that are best for your workflow. Additionally, if you see, a red line in a path, that's going to indicate a strong likelihood of an individual being able to get you that warm intro. Orange will be average, and yellow will be weak. So this is our Pathfinder tool. You can map, top donors to top prospects. Additionally, let's say there's a company, you have a really good relationship with those executives. You could do from a company to your top prospect list. For our university clients, I've had some universities leverage their parent lists to their top prospect list as well. There's a lot that you can do here. You can interchange the from and the to anything that works best for you. Next up, what I'm going to go into is our Power Search tool. This is how you generate prospect lists in RelSci. It's our most popular prospecting tool. And essentially what it allows you to do is, if you're looking for a group of individuals that fit a certain criteria or companies that fit a certain criteria, this is where you'll be. So let's say, I'm looking for people that fit a certain criteria to be my potential new donors, for the next 6 months. These are the people I'm going to go after. You can scroll down Power Search and see right here along the left-hand side, there are various parameters that you can filter through, such as location, career board. Let's say you're looking for, higher level executives who maybe work in a certain industry. You can also filter on education, where has an individual gone to school? Maybe I want to see people who went to my alma mater. Additionally, you can look for compensation as well. Let's say, I'm looking for wealthy individuals in an area who made more than $5 million in the past year. You can also filter through donations as well if you're looking for people who've donated to a certain organization or cause. So let's say, I am a nonprofit. I'm located in the New York area, and I focus on donors for cancer research. And I really want to generate a prospect list here in RelSci. So I'm going to do location. I'm located in New York. Select career board. I really only want individuals who have the capacity to make a large donation, so I'm going to look for people who are C-suite and senior management. Then I'm going to scroll down to the donations field, and I could do an organization, but I think a cause might be more helpful for me. So I'm going to do cancer research, and then I'm going to click search. So now what RelSci is doing, out of our database of 4.5 million influential individuals, who fits the criteria of being located in New York, is a C-suite or senior level management executive, and has donated to cancer research previously. So you see there's 158 people who fit that criteria. So we'll see here on the left-hand side, who these individuals are, why'd they come up on my search. So first up is Jamie Dimon, who's the chairman and CEO of JP Morgan. He's located in New York. And it looks like he's previously donated to Lymphoma Research Foundation. So, because of his affiliation with another cancer research organization, I believe there'd be a high likelihood that he would be open to donating to my foundation. Additionally, you'll see opposite his name, how could you get a warm introduction to Jamie Dimon? And it looks like we could go about doing this through Michael L. Corbett. Additionally, I can scroll down and see, Henry Kravis, who's the co-chairman and co-CEO at KKR, is located in New York and has donated to some cancer research, such as the Prostate Cancer Foundation, and it looks like 2 of my colleagues could possibly connect me to Henry Kravis. So let's say, this is my prospect list moving forward. These are the individuals I want to target. What I can do is I can save this to a list. If I just click this Add To button, select List, and I can name it Potential C-Suite Cancer Donors. Click Save. Now that list is saved to my account. Additionally, I can report it out as well. And what I would want to do with this list, if I was a nonprofit, I wouldn't want to go back to that Pathfinder tool, do my firm to this prospect list of potential donors I just created, and see what access points I might be able to uncover. Also as well, you can save searches in RelSci as well. So if this is a search that as a foundation, we're going to be doing this a lot, you can just name it in here, potential C-suite cancer donors. You can click Save. And now that search is going to be saved in my account. And when I scroll up to the top of Power Search, click Open Save Search, that search will be in here as well. So I don't have to always, go back in and type in all the fields. It'll auto-populate for me. Just going to make my life a little bit easier, and it's one less step that I have to do. Additionally, as well, in Power Search, you can look for organizations. So let's say, I am a university client, and I am looking for corporations, who would donate to us. And I'm located in Atlanta, and that's where I really want the companies to be. So for a location, I'm going to type in Atlanta. And I want companies who have donated to higher education and universities before. go in and cause, type in higher ed and universities. I'm going to click search, and now what RelSci is doing is, out of those 1 million plus organizations that we have, who are located in Atlanta and have donated to universities previously. So it looks like AT&T is located in Atlanta, and they've previously donated to Trinity University and the University of Texas. So this could be, a really strong prospect that we want to go after. So, how could we get a warm introduction to someone influential at AT&T? Looks like I can through Susan Myers. Additionally, I can scroll down. Bank of America, they're located in Atlanta, and I would really love it if they could donate to my school. It looks like, they've donated to Wofford College and Atlanta University. And so that could be an interesting access point as well. If this is your prospect list, say moving forward, this is my corporate prospects. You do just like what I did before, click Add to List. The window will pop up. You can name it and save it into your account, and then I would go right back into our Pathfinder tool and plug that list in. Also, so if anyone has any questions that have come up that you've seen, through the webinar, please feel free to submit any questions, throughout the presentation. Next up, our next tool is going to be donor search. This is one of the more popular tools with our nonprofit clients. So essentially, what are you raising money for? Let's say I'm a hospital and I'm located in Denver, and I'm looking for individuals who have donated to medical research because of some upcoming initiatives that we have. So for location, I'm going to put in Denver. And what am I raising money for? It's a hospital. I'm going to click Show Donors. So what this is going to do is donor search is going to pull up strictly a list of individuals who have either worked at, sat on the board of, or donated to causes similar to hospitals and health centers. So this is another great prospecting tool. It's a little more broad. It might, expand your horizons and allow you as an organization to maybe go after some individuals who are maybe outside of the normal realm that you would go after. So it looks like Greg Engels, who's the chairman and CEO at the White Wave Food Company, is on the board of the Children's Health System of Texas. I think he might be interested because of his affiliation, with another hospital system, that he would be interested in donating to us. Additionally, I can scroll through here. It looks like Gary Loveman has donated to a variety of hospitals and health centers, and it looks like I could get a warm introduction to him through my colleague, Mike Owens. You can also, print this out, PDF or a CSV, just like we did before. This is, a report. You want to bring this to your next team meeting, show everyone these are our prospects that are located in Denver, and, these are the individuals I want to focus on moving forward for our campaign. Additionally, as well, you can save it to a list. So I can name it, hospital donors in Denver. And save. So that's just, something that you guys can do in donor search. You can look up, individuals who have donated to a similar cause of yours, as well as your organization here as well. And, if there's a really large list, you can filter it by location. You can also include amounts. If you wanted to do maybe greater than 10,000, that's also something you could add to your search. Next up, what we have is our RSVP and events tool. So do you plan events for your organization? Is this something that's really a part of your daily role? So let's say I am a hospital. I'm located in the New York area, and we have our annual gala. And I want to see, who can we invite to this event? Maybe we can get some new potential donors out of our gala. So let's say I'm New York Presbyterian Hospital. I'm going to click Explore, and now what RelSci is doing is it's exploring the connections of the C-suite and senior level executives at New York Presbyterian, as well as our board members and our donors and current relationships. So it's going to curate a list of potential invitees based on my organization's connections. So this could kind of be my starting point for, who are these high-level influential individuals that I want to invite to our gala. So it'll show you we've got a large list here of just over 5,000, and they'll show you Rex Tillerson, who's the chairman and CEO of Exxon, is actually connected to some of our donors and board members of New York Presbyterian. So we think there'd be a high likelihood that he would be interested in attending our annual gala. So it looks like he knows Andrew Jung, who's donated to us previously, and he's also connected to Harold Burton, who's a donor as well. And it looks like we could get a warm intro to Rex through my colleague Mike Owens. So that's really interesting, but this list is really large, and I wouldn't even know where to begin. So I'm going to filter it to make it, what works best for us. Since we're a New York-based hospital, I'm really only interested in people who are located in New York and New Jersey. Since it is a New York event, I don't think if someone's located in California, they might not come. Additionally, as well for causes, I only want people who have been affiliated with hospitals and health centers previously. And because of that affiliation, I think they'll be more likely to donate to New York Presbyterian going forward. So I'm going to add those filters to that list here. Let's just give it a second, for it to load. If any questions have come up, please submit it through the question feature within GoToWebinar. So now our list is narrowed down to just about 1,400 individuals. That's much more reasonable for me to work with, with our potential gala going through. So I'm going to add this, but instead of doing a list, I'm going to click Event. And I'm going to save this as our gala event for the fall. I'm going to click Save. And now I'm going to click View Event. So instead of our list feature like we saw previously, my eventee list is in our Events tool. And this tool acts as a folder. So anything that you have that is event-specific can live here in RelSci. It's going to have its own separate place to allow you to stay organized within your work. So that is our Events tool. And then next up, what I have is our Relationship Discovery tool. So this is more of our strategic planning, long-term prospecting tool. So essentially what it allows you to do is to really uncover the reach of, let's say your board members or your top donors. In reality, it would be really great if I could get all of my board members' contacts and load those into RelSci. I would probably be able to uncover some really interesting access points. But realistically, that'd be really hard to do. But Discovery lets you do that here. So if you click this Change button, you can kind of go in and you can type in, who are you trying to explore the full reach of? Is it my board members, my top donors, or my relationships? All of that can be inputted here. And then connection points. Am I looking for first degree, which is who were they directly connected to, or second degree? I think second degree is a much more interesting access point because it shows, who those board members can get you a warm intro to through their network of contacts. And you can click Apply once you have your settings set. And then I'm going to click Explore the Relationships. So what RelSci is doing is it's taking into account, who do my board members have access to? And we can filter this based off of industry, location, or role. Right now it's set to industry, but if you wanted to change it, you would just go to the top and click this filter button here, and you can change, for what works best for your organization. So you can see there's all the industry classifications are right here on the left-hand side, and you can see through the chart, where do my board members have the most connections? What industries do they have the most contacts in? So you can see investment services and portfolio management, and in the middle of the chart, you'll kind of get a quick snapshot and see, what companies my board members can get me a warm intro to. We can kind of scroll through this list and see, what other, industries are we connected to, and we can kind of scroll through here and go through the chart. Is there any industry in particular that's really jumping out at you? So for example, I really want to see who our board members are connected to in the private equity venture capital space. I believe those individuals have the capacity to make a warm intro and donate to us. So we can click into here, and we're going to get quick snapshot. So, my board members are connected to a variety of organizations in the PEVC space. Because of the nature of these individuals' work, I believe that they would have the capacity to make that high-level donation that we're really looking for. So we can kind of scroll through and see, what companies our board members are connected to. It looks like there's a variety: KKR, the Carlyle Group, Time Warner Investments, and so on and so forth. So I can kind of scroll through this list and see, oh, look, the Blackstone Group. You'll see that number in the middle of the circle chart is how many connection points you have to that particular organization. And the colors you see around that will indicate how many strong connections, average, or weak. So I'm going to click into the Blackstone Group because, I'm really interested in, maybe working with individuals who work at that company in particular. So it looks like my board members are connected to Steven Schwartzman, who's the chair on their board of directors. It looks like I could get a warm introduction to him through Felipe Dowman. Additionally, as well, looks like our board members are connected to Timothy Coleman, who's on their executive committee. And it looks like I can get a warm intro through my board member, Catherine. So this is just a really interesting way, kind of view top-down, how can we get into some of these industries, that we really wanted to go after, potential donors for, but we just had no idea how. And now Discovery lets you kind of uncover some really interesting access points into these high-level, organizations, and hopefully, this can really help you guys out moving forward with getting some potential new donors. You can report out this Discovery report as well. You can do a PDF or a CSV, which is an Excel file. And and we can go back to our relationship discovery tool if you wanted to filter it by location or role, for example. Another feature that we have for our RelSci customers is this RelSci services button. So let's say if you're looking up an individual in particular and you notice maybe you're looking for more donation information and it's not there. This is where you can kind of go in, click Update Existing Profile. I'm looking at Judith Roden. Is there any more donation information available on her? Include as much information as you can in that note and send it to this note here will go right to our research team. They're going to go out and scour the public domain, and they're going to send you an email within 2 to 3 business days, if they were able to find more info with an updated link. Additionally, as well, if you're uploading your contacts, and let's say there are a couple of key individuals who aren't profiled in the system, you can also request a profile, click Create New Profile here. Gives the research team as much information on this individual as possible. Let's say I really want to profile my contact, George Smith. He's a tax partner at Price Waterhouse. He's also on the board of the March of Dimes as well. Include as much info as you can. Send that off to our research team. They'll go out, scour all the data and send you a note in that time frame and with the profile for that individual in particular. So this concludes our RelSci webinar. I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes. Please submit any questions that you may have through the question feature within GoToWebinar. I'm going to take a little break, let everyone submit those questions, and then I'll come back in 2 minutes and answer them. Thanks, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm here with my colleague, Julie, and we're going to start the Q&A session part of the webinar. How can I get a list of our 50 top prospects added as a list in RelSci? I have it in Excel. What are some of the best ways to utilize this list in RelSci? So to upload your prospect list into RelSci, we're going to click into this List tab here. We're going to click Upload File to List. You can download our CSV template if you don't have everything in the Excel file. I'm just going to click it here to show you guys for your reference what the CSV template looks like. So the more information you can give us on your prospects, the better. So you're going to fill out, first name, last name, email, company, position, and what you want to do is save this file in Excel as a CSV, delimited, so that it's compatible with RelSci. Once you do that and save it to your desktop, you're going to click Choose File. And you're going to select your file going forward, click Upload, and then RelSci is going to walk you through the process. It'll show you exact matches for your prospect list as well as potential matches. There could be a chance that maybe you had not updated employment information, same as RelSci, or maybe you had the middle name with someone in RelSci. We don't have the middle name. Go through the potential matches, see who else is in the system, click Add, and then you can turn on alerts for that list. Essentially, if you wanted to get alerts onto a list, click into it, and you just click this alerts button here that will turn it on. So now you'll be notified anytime someone in your prospect list is on the news. To get the most use out of prospect lists in RelSci, what I would do is I would go to Pathfinder and do my firm to that prospect list that you just created. And click Show Paths, and then that way you can see, how does your firm map to that specific prospect list that you just uploaded into your account.
Great. Is there anything called a wealth report in RelSci?
No, we do not capture wealth information in RelSci.
We can capture information on compensation from certain larger public companies, but that's a one-off, one-per-case basis, but not general net wealth.
And usually if you see, compensation for somebody in RelSci, that's usually uncovered through public filings. Like they're an executive at a large public company, so it's disclosed. So that's why you would see that information in RelSci.
How can I see if we know anyone on Amex's board?
So what we can do here is you can do My Firm to American Express. Click Show Paths. What this is going to do is it's going to map, My Firm to American Express. But we can filter here, and right now, let's say we're only interested in board members, so I'm going to uncheck C-Suite, Other, and I only want current board members. I'm going to click Apply. And now Pathfinder is, applying those parameters to it. So it's only mapping My Firm to board members that are currently on the board of American Express. And you just click this filter button here on the right-hand side if you want to, switch up your path report.
Great.
All right. We hope that you all feel more comfortable using the RelSci platform after today's webinar. If there's anything that you were exposed to during this webinar that seemed unclear or confusing, please contact your account manager. They can set up a more tailored training for you. Thank you everyone for submitting your questions, and please keep an eye out for a follow-up email containing a RelSci user guide for your reference. We look forward to working with you all and hope to speak to you all soon. Have a good one.